clips of Minneapolis and St. Paul. We're only like 10 minutes north of the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. By the way, it's like one of the most popular, I think it's the second most populated or most populated, I'm guessing. Well, how would you even measure popular? Populated state fair in all of the country. I think we're behind Texas. Do you know this? You guys know?
I think it's
Texas?
second. Oh, gosh. I'm pretty sure it is. I've looked it up before.
I definitely
know
looked
Texas
it
and
up.
New York are big.
Yeah. Oh, well, New York's got a big. No kidding. Well, anyway, we're going to talk about the Viro Never Walz booth by Action for Liberty. Reading your comments at home. Tell us where you're watching us from is the lovely Bridget. How you doing, Bridget?
I am doing great. Tucker's here, says good afternoon, everyone. Odd One says hello, all.
Nice. And running the dials, as always, Mr. Deep State himself. Dawson, how you doing there, Dawson?
That's me. I'm doing good. I'm really hungry. That's all I have today. I'm hungry.
Maybe Tushy will bring you some wings.
Yeah, not in studio is Tushy, always late, always not here on time. So he's going to join us when he gets here for some great political commentary. This episode's brought to you by, let's do, what are we going to do first? Warren Wessel, Mr. Shuttleman. Warren, he's shuttling the volunteers for Action for Liberty. It's great. Mr. Warren Wessel, great realtor, great shuttler. If you're buying a home or selling a home, go to Warren Wessel of Keller Williams at 612-419-7453. And if you're buying a home, give the good guys at John Galt Mortgage Company your business. Go to johngaltmortgage.com. They think like you. They believe in the same things you believe in. And they're damn good at financing homes. Also brought to you by Alpine Cabinetry in St. Cloud, Minnesota. If you want to join our conversation, you could go onto Rumble and put your comments there. Otherwise, we might monitor on YouTube and Facebook. And at any point, hit like and subscribe. Also, if you want to join us, be a premium subscriber of the Truth Hurts show, just hit join on Truth Hurts. We're going to have a great post show again today when Tushy gets here. All right, let's start out with coverage. You know, I want to start with A2. I don't know why I went bad first. Dawson, we're going to start with A2. This is from Fox News. So, you know, just to give you a little history, we did the fair the first time. So I founded Action for Liberty. I think a lot of you guys know that, back in 2013. And we did a booth. We were building Tea Party organizations across the metro area and a little bit in greater Minnesota. So we did the fair for the first time in 2013, and it went really well. But for whatever reason, we just decided not to do the fair many other years, probably because we were just too busy. It was like a part-time thing. We went back to the fair in 2021. You remember that, Bridget? Mm-hmm. There was a little thing going on at the time. Like, I don't know, Joe Biden trying to tell you had to put this experimental drug in your body. And so we had this big King Walz sign right here, by the way, just behind Bridget, the King Walz sign. And the State Fair stole that, by the way. Like, it was end of day one, they stole our signs. We printed new ones up in a letter from our lawyer saying you got to put that up. It's free speech. And anyhow, we've been back to the State Fair every year with a different message, what we think is hot. And 2 weeks ago, and I'm still helping out the team, led by the wonderful Eric Mortensen, former representative, is the president of Action for Liberty. Great board at Action for Liberty. Also, Lisa Rexedler, who is the team lead.
Lisa is amazing, I think. She's so good. She's like an amazing volunteer.
Bridget.
She's not even, at this point, I feel like she's just, yeah.
You have no idea.
Involved.
You have no idea until you actually work with her.
Yeah.
Like, this much, like, holy cow.
And it's cool because she used to be a Democrat before 2020. And then she saw all the riots and she was like, okay, maybe I should listen to Fox News that my husband's always listening to.
Action for Liberty has somebody at working the booth that still caucuses with Democrats.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It's not a joke. No, she's very conservative. She's like Trump supporter. Oh, by the way, she's also a sergeant major, or retired sergeant major, a real retired sergeant major. She's interesting, Tina. And then, of course, Warren's running the shuttle. They are so good at what they did. And so we were in this plan. So, first of all, I'm just contributing, helping out. I have a lot of the institutional knowledge of how to do the fair booth, so I wanted to help out as much as possible. Plus, you got Lisa, first time doing it, and she's rocking it. And so we, you know, you guys know from the show, I predicted Joe Biden wouldn't be on the ballot in November, right? Wasn't that a good prediction? So I said, I don't think you guys should go big on Joe Biden. And so that was kind of the go-to, but, you know, there was going to be a key decision point. And then, you know, the whole thing with Trump getting shot at kind of gravitated towards, you know, like this powerful signal. That's what the shirts are there. Then it was, well, Kamala's president. And when she announced Tim Walz, and this is like 2 weeks out from the state fair, I go, guys, you're going to hate me for saying this. I think you should probably go hard against Tim Walz, because I know the people of Minnesota. I know that this is a unifying call, and we're going to talk about how it's going viral nationally. Now it's even more people. Wait till you hear what Tucker Carlson thinks of Tim Walz. He weighed in on the Megyn Kelly show. And so this thing is like, it seems to be the right message, right? It's really hitting like into the core of the conservative cause. And then it's also got the leftist triggered. So this is on foxnews.com. Masterful shapeshifter Walz gets pointed message from Minnesota voters at the state fair booth. Former Minnesota State Representative Eric Mortensen slammed Governor Walz as a thin-skinned, power-drunk tyrant. Now, by the way, I love the fact that I got to lead Action for Liberty during the COVID pandemic. There are a few people that I think have more hatred for Tim Walz than me. I mean, certainly Lisa Hansen, Lisa Zarza, Jane Moss, Larvita, although I don't think there's really hate in Larvita's heart. So there are some people that probably dislike him a little bit more, right? But I would certainly say Mortensen's got to be up there. I mean, this guy, and by the way, Mortensen's actually had dialogue with Tim Walz, which was just hilarious if you've never seen that video. So anyhow, Mort's a great one to run point on something like this, because like he was there. He was at the Capitol fighting against this COVID lunacy. The Fox News goes on to write, Minnesota State Fair is in full swing this week, with attendees seen lining up outside a popular anti-Tim Walz booth to win Never Walz prizes after the Gopher State governor ascended to the second spot on the 2024 Democratic presidential ticket. Never Walz reads a massive sign on a booth at the state fair, which has attracted long lines of people waiting to receive Never Walz fans and T-shirts, Fox News Digital has learned. The booth was set up by conservative nonprofit Action for Liberty Minnesota. You guys can go to actionforliberty.com, just so you know, actionforliberty.com, which allows attendees of the nation's second largest state fair to spin a wheel to win Never Walz signage and apparel. Quote, our amazing supporters spin the wheel for a chance at a free T-shirt and a Never Walz fan. We're a nonprofit organization that promotes liberty by exposing the rhinos and leftists when they betray liberty, and we work to mobilize our grassroots army of supporters and train them on how to wield their individual political power as effectively as possible. Action for Liberty leader and former Republican Minnesota State Rep Eric Mortensen told Fox News Digital on Tuesday. The Minnesota State Fair, are you kidding me? The door's unlocked. Look at this. That guy.
He just tried it. I heard him.
No, what is he doing? You know why he's ringing the doorbell? Because he's got too much in his hands. Oh my gosh, this is the talent I bring on the show. Let's go to the comment section. I'm livid.
Gosh.
I'm livid at Tushy.
Laser Jim is here. Says hi from Gaylord. Mary K21. Good afternoon, we the people. Tucker says, did the booth get blown over yesterday? I don't know. It wasn't there, did it?
The booth is perfectly fine. Mort posted on Action for Liberty's Facebook page this morning. Withstood. By the way, I'm glad it withstood it, because it was me drilling the holes in there Tuesday. By the way, not easy to do. I was talking today. I'm like, can we get a piece of one of your equipment out here so we could get up there? Because you got to climb up. I had to go get a stronger ladder, and then you really got to bend over. It's like 4 feet this way, and then I'm trying to put them in these set screws. Why'd you ring the bell? Why'd you do that?
You might be committing another American with Disabilities.
Oh no!
Violation,
Oh my gosh!
I did not.
Is that your comeback every time?
I could not see that the door was actually propped open. I did not see that.
You're gonna milk this whole.
No.
You have bad eyesight.
I'm serious. I rang the bell and I'm like, "Come on, guys! You know I'm coming late." And then I'm like, "Oh, it's propped open." I didn't see that at first.
Hold on. So what am I making fun of here? Your bad eyesight or mental disability here?
Yeah,
Which
my bad
one is it?
eyesight. I didn't see that
Okay.
the door was propped open. I couldn't see that it was actually propped.
Do you know
open,
what my favorite Far Side is? It's this. Oh my God. Do you guys know what Far Side?
I love Far Side.
Yep.
Far Side comic. Push to open. I'm gonna see if this is available because.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, this is it. I'm gonna send it to you, Dawson. How do I send this? Let's see. This is my favorite. I'm way off script here. Not that we have a script on the show. This is a hang. What the heck?
Hour 44 says another one for the bloopers. I'm guessing with Tushy walking in.
Yeah, probably. Line 18, Dawson. Best Far Side comic strip of all time. My favorite. It's Midvale's School for the Gifted, and it's got the big sign that says pole, and the kid's pushing with all his weight against it. All right, dude. Okay.
You're lucky I can't see that cartoon. Just kidding.
This is crazy. He's gonna use that one. He's gonna milk that for all it's worth.
Where are the wings?
He can't eat
I'm
the
not
wings
allowed
on the
to
white
eat
chair.
wings on a
Where
white
are
chair,
they, though?
apparently.
Are they in your car?
They're sitting out at the entryway there. I wolfed some down in my car on the way over.
That's believable. Let me finish. The Minnesota State Fair, which kicked off on Saturday and will run through Labor Day weekend, is anticipated to attract 2 million visitors. The Never Walz booth is a hot attraction to the fairgrounds, with Mortensen saying that even though they aren't selling famed fair food, quote, our lines have been longer than most of the food booths. You guys have seen at this point, and just go through the pictures there, Dawson. The fair booth is rocking. Unfortunately, the footage we went and got footage yesterday. We're going to show that video to you. We picked the wrong day. The sweltering heat. Yeah. Did you wear that long sleeve shirt the whole time, by the way?
I did. I was this close to taking it off, but I didn't want to distract people from the booth.
Yeah, there you go.
Gosh.
All right, so let's go ahead. We got a little clip here from Dawson at the fair interviewing Royce White, who made a stop at the booth, and then Jesse, Mega Jesse's working it.
Hold on a second.
We got volume.
Yeah, I gotta pick it up.
Yeah. Oh.
What do you think about Tim Walz and the record that he's done as governor?
I think Tim Walz is a communist. I think communism, socialism, and Marxism are all the same intellectual idea. Anybody who says anything different is a liar.
Because Tim Walz is a failure. He's a liar. He has failed at everything he's tried to do.
I'm worried about my grandchildren. They need all the help that they can get when there are people like him.
Well, during COVID, when Walz set up his COVID snitch line, at the time I was a St. Paul police officer.
That's Tina.
And neighbors would actually call 911 on kids playing outside in a basketball court. And to me, that was just really egregious, and that's what spurred me to become a volunteer.
I like the wheel. It's been a main attraction of the fair so far, and I can tell because I'm seeing Never Walz fans all across the fairgrounds here. So that's a good job to you guys.
All right, what do you guys think of Tim Walz?
Not good at all. Vote Republican, man.
So what brings you out to our booth here? What do you think about Tim Walz? Do you think that he should become our next vice president?
I don't believe so.
What a great shirt.
Well, there it
that
is, the
Jesse was
fair and
wearing
balanced
there.
coverage of the state fair. I was shocked, though. I was like, the lines have been, you guys could just go look on the Facebook page or Mort's Twitter account, long. I'm
They
assuming
usually are,
actually.
too. Last year when I was there, I think I can't even tell you how many times that guy came to scold us for our lines and our people being in the street. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help that we're so popular.
Well, and it's even more so this year.
Yeah, I imagine.
But I just realized, although they haven't released the numbers yet, I think they're going to predict an all-time low yesterday. And for those that don't know, literally, we had this massive storm rip through. They had to close early, and then it opened up late today. They didn't open up the fairgrounds till 9 o'clock to fairgoers. I just dropped off Jesse, and it's amazing. So I'm still out of power over in Stillwater right now. Are you? Yeah, you are in Inver Grove.
Yep.
But I didn't see a lot of storm. Well, I should say there is some storm damage. I guess my neighbor had a branch fall down. But when you go right by the fairgrounds, there's a lot of damage. Clearly this morning they were busy grinding up branches that fell down. And I think during this live broadcast we'll get the fair numbers. I assume the fair was low attendance yesterday just because it was like 107 heat index or something like that.
It was 108 degrees, and it was the most humid I've felt, and on top of it there was zero wind. So it was just everybody sitting there in this muggy sweat. It was terrible.
Right.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot says, according, I think in reference to the lines, not true. I saw someone on Facebook say no one stopped at the A4L booth.
Yeah.
Well, Facebook.
Fake news.
It's funny.
Did you guys see that red sky last night?
Oh, mine was
No.
green.
So I wasn't the only one that saw it then, because I saw a couple pictures of it this morning. But yeah, my power's out. Supposedly it'll be restored by noon on Thursday. So
That's what they're saying.
Hopefully my freezer holds
That's
up. No.
not a joke. Literally, Excel says Thursday at noon.
Yeah, I remember when there was a big storm in Wisconsin a year ago or something like this. My mom had showed me that like her power was supposed to be out for, another. My mom, said her and my dad were going to be without power for 2.5 days or something like this. She sent me the text, and then it said this article from the power company said, check on senior citizens and whatever. I said, so how are you guys doing? And then she got a little pissed about that. So if she's watching, yeah. But no, I was so it like, I don't know, 7 o'clock yesterday. It was like light out, like a few minutes to 7. All of a sudden it just got black and thunder and lightning and just started pouring. And then all of a sudden, like, just went from like 90 whatever degrees, 100% humidity to cold wind just blowing in the house.
Exactly.
So then I'm like, wow, this is quite a storm. And I was on the phone with somebody, and all of a sudden I said, oh my God, what is this? Like the black went to red, and the whole sky was red.
The red came after the initial.
Yeah,
cool.
it was like totally black, and then all of a sudden it just went from black to red. Like it was blue, and then black, and then red.
Just out of curiosity, how quickly after the initial blast, like when the rain started, did it turn that way? Because I'm driving home
like
from
15 minutes or so, like 15 minutes of downpour.
Yeah, I got home and our power was out, so I had to like go around the house to go manually open up the garage door, right?
So it was only like a tiny bit of rain.
So I must have completely missed it because I just got in the home.
It just like downpoured and thunder and lightning for like 15 minutes of like black sky, and then all of a sudden like the rain let up. It was only barely raining. There's still a little bit of lightning around.
Hold that thought. And go pull Minnesota Twins Twitter page or something like that. I got this great photo if you haven't seen it, and it's of this red sky. Go ahead. Sorry.
I put that on my I put it on my Snapchat story, and I had friends in Wisconsin, including my mom, like messaging and said, "Is that the sunset? Is there a fire going on there?" I'm like, "That is literally the sky went from pitch black to this."
Well, it's clearly global warming. Look at that.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was like, "What is going on?"
That is the coolest colors of a sky ever. I mean, it's so ominous. It almost seems like Joe Biden is going to give a speech about mega.
It's so evident, even I could see it.
Yeah.
Whiskey Tango says sounds like Liberty was on some good drugs.
I was streaming during it, and for fun, I opened up my curtains so I could have the green lighting shining on my face during it. But I ended up having to close the curtains because there was so much lightning that it looked like there was a strobe light on me. It was super cool. What a fun.
It's so funny. I thought you were saying you were screaming during it, but you said you were streaming, right?
Yeah, streaming. Yeah.
That is such a cool photo. Interesting. So that came after the initial wave. Interesting. There was such a wall that just went by. And I mean, listen, if you're not from Minnesota, maybe this is a Twin Cities thing. No, it's not a Twin Cities thing. What am I talking about? This happens up in Bemidji. When you get high humidity, like hot and high humidity, it doesn't matter if it's in the forecast. Get ready. Storms are coming, right? They develop out of nowhere. And yesterday's ones were just this massive wall. I remember because I coach football, and it started at 6:30, and we were going to go to 7:45. We had to cut at 7:30 because it looked like what do you do? What is Bill Dingsford? Go ahead, read it.
Tushy always has the good drugs.
Oh, don't keep disparaging me, Bill. I'm getting really sick of this guy.
Tushy says no to drugs, by the way, just so you know, as he downs that Monster Energy full of caffeine, which is a very addictive drug. Oh God, I just shared this on Facebook. Look what popped up. Is you and Erlon 2 years ago.
Oh, is Erlon volunteering?
Look at what just
He's
popped up.
volunteering tomorrow.
It's you with Erlon. What is that?
Wearing the same hat in the fair.
Yeah, but you remember what happened?
It was a storm.
It was a storm. It looks like it was 2 years ago today.
Yep.
You guys got caught up in a storm.
We weren't as considered as Dawson. We did take our shirts off. So
I get it.
So
Erlon did distract.
So a couple of Bears got half naked in the booth last year. Is that what you're telling me?
First of all, it was 2 years ago, and I don't know if you know what that term means. I don't think you understand what that means.
I know exactly what Bears mean.
All right. Well, it doesn't apply to two heterosexual men like Erlon Johnson and myself.
Yes, but the implication was there. You understood what I was doing, right?
Isn't Jacob a Bears fan?
Oh, that's true. That was it. That's what I meant. Chicago Bears, right there.
Yeah, he loves those Bears, don't you, Jake?
All right, so Fox News gives great coverage to the Never Walz booth. By the way, massive lines. I mean, do we even need to prove it? Massive lines. However, yes, we did go and film it the one day that there wasn't a lot. But I think we're going to find out that the attendance was very low yesterday at the State Fair. Anyhow, long story short, you got to kind of maneuver the haters here. We can't just have all good stories out there about Action for Liberty's great booth. This is Fox 9, which reports. Now, this is fascinating to me. Okay, I'm assuming, there's this thing in politics: if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all. It's the reverse. No, I'm sorry. That's like what you tell your kids, right? And in politics, it's if you can't say something not nice, don't say it at all. And then, of course, the mainstream media fully embraces that theory, right? Because if it's anything that benefits Trump or conservatives, in this case, Action for Liberty, don't say it. We don't want to say it. So I would assume that the corporate press here in Minnesota would not even reported about this booth. However, they found an angle, and this is a funny one. So this is from Fox 9, our local Fox affiliate, reports that the Never Walz booth at the Minnesota State Fair, Kamala Harris supporters purchase website domain. Amid a Never Walz booth popping up at the Minnesota State Fair, supporters of Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, have purchased the domain of neverwalz.com to redirect to Harris's campaign's website. By the way, cool photo of that guy with the Never Walz fan. The booth is run by the nonprofit Action for Liberty Minnesota. The group has been promoting the booth on its Facebook page, which says the booth has Never Walz fans and merchandise. Action for Liberty Minnesota is a conservative nonprofit led by former state representative Eric Mortensen, according to its websites. And then it goes, what happens if you go to neverwalz.com? The nonprofit group never purchased the domain for neverwalz.com. Now Harris and Walz supporters have purchased the domain. When you go to the neverwalz.com, this message appears and then redirects to Harris's campaign website.
We've never done that. It's always go to Action for Liberty.
It's who does that? Who goes up there and goes, when you don't even promote a website, goes, oh, well, neverwalz.com. Like what, 2 people? And those people are probably not going to get their minds changed by this little cute thing. So some clever lefty spent $20 on a domain plus the, $15 in privacy to buy the domain that no one's going to go to. Yeah. What are you thinking, Tushi?
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's not like we didn't. It's not like Action for Liberty didn't purchase the domain actionforliberty.com, or like say a candidate didn't purchase the domain tayrab.com or joetarab.com. That would be stupid. But if
or letting what's his name? What was the senator?
Dean Erdahl.
Yeah, Dean Erdahl, not the Dean Erdahl one though. What was the goofy guy? Osmek.
Yeah,
DavidOsmek.com, letting that fall to a porn site.
Yep. Exactly.
That's a big screw up, especially when you promote. So that the difference between the Dave Osmek one is he actually put on literature he handed out to constituents. Did you know about this, Dawson? There was a state senator in Minnesota who literally promoted a website that he let fall into the hands of someone that put it to a porn site.
I feel like I did hear about that. Yeah. I think
Stop looking up DavidOsmek.com. Don't do that, Dawson.
The guy that sends porno out still gets to chair conventions and stuff.
I'm looking up just Never Walz on Google to see what happens, and the first thing that pops up is this article. So I mean, that would be the reason that they.
That's not what I see. First thing that pops up is Fox News and then the Guardian.
No, I just looked up on Google Never space Walz, and then the first thing is the Fox 9 article, which leads to the domain. Yeah, so that would be my guess. Is they're not trying to actually steal people. They're just trying to shit on.
Oh yeah, clearly they're trying to shit on it. Now what's interesting is they probably wouldn't have reported on it before. Now a lot of people see, hey, there's a Never Walz booth at the state fair. I was thinking, geez, did the deep fried cheese curds, did they buy deepfriedcheesecurds.com? Boy, they really missed the opportunity there. Perhaps Action for Liberty knows what they're doing, and their target audience is at the state fair. Now, they also have QR codes all over. They promote actionforliberty.com. They got the lit piece. I think people are going to the right website.
What's on those fans? Can you hold up the back?
It's just a disclaimer. You talking about this little thing here?
Flip it over. Is it just the same thing on the back?
Same thing on both sides. It's just a disclaimer.
I think I agree with Odd One then in the comment section. It's a miss for A4L. All the paper fans are out there. People may have looked for neverwalz.com.
Do you think so? I don't think people would do that.
I don't. Why didn't you put a QR code
you Google it, but I don't think you put. I don't think anyone goes.
Would put .com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you promote .com, then that would be a big miss.
Does it say Action for Liberty on it?
No, yeah, these say Action for Liberty on it.
Is it in the small text?
In the small print. Yeah,
it's in the small print.
You guys should add something to it next year to make it bigger. I think, unless you had a lot of these.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think you need to.
No.
People can find that.
In fact, I don't even think there's a regulation you have to put a disclaimer on it. Just in the world of politics.
Did you see what Matt Walsh did at The DNC
Maybe I saw he was
with the Project
in
20.
character.
Yeah,
No, with Project 2025.
It was really funny.
What did he do?
So he had these Project 2025 cards that he was handing out to everybody, and of course every liberal is just like, oh, horrible Project 2025. Have nothing, like no clue what it's about. But see, he got, after getting kicked out twice, I think he came back with these cards, and he has the "Am I Racist" movie that I don't know when it comes out exactly, but. Anyways, he was handing it out to a bunch of people, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, like Project 2025. He's like, oh, go to this website to find information about it. And then he got interviewed by Don Lemon talking about, or just one of his camera guys, I think it was, is like, Don Lemon interviews him, and he's giving him this thing, and Don's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to check this out and everything. And then he goes, who else was it? I think, I can't remember, some other guy that he got behind and interviewed too. But basically, he's like, it worked amazingly. Tons and tons of the liberals had his card, and what it does, it takes you to his website and advertise imaracist.com. So basically everything on the website is just I'm a racist, advertises this movie, and I was like, dang, that is a very very smart and fun idea.
No, I mean, that is, I mean, that's a good punk for sure, because that the left is just, they can't get over this
the Project
2025 thing, which is such a dumb thing.
So I'm still looking up Project 2025 stuff because I'm still confused.
I think it's a huge document, though,
it's a waste of time. Yeah, it's a huge, we've gone through this before. It's a massive document. It's just a bunch of policy wonks on the right.
What's a policy wonk?
Just somebody that like thinks about policy, not necessarily. I mean, if you had, let's just say you had a dichotomy in politics. You have the people that are like campaign world, right? That all they think about is elections and stuff, and then you got the people that just care about policy, right? Okay. I'm making it very simple. There are other guys like us that are like, more strategist operatives. That's like, politics is really shaped by, activating and mobilizing people, right? That's actually what gets me interested, although policy does too. But a policy wonk is like, all it is policy. So it's like, what do we need to do to turn around this country? Leave the politics out, leave the elections out of it. What do you do to change policy in this country? And so they're writing this stuff. And I mean, I read one of them. It's the Federal Reserve piece. And it's like, it's nothing. It's like, you know what I want to do with the Federal Reserve? Do I have the book up here? Do I have it? No, I don't have it up here. I want to end the Fed. This be my office.
I'm really quick. I'm curious.
What's it called? The book?
In the Fed by Ron Paul.
I should read.
I mean, we should not have a centralized economic bank. That is the wrong direction of this country. We should have competing currencies. I think gold ends up winning something that's backed by gold. You have certificates that are backed by gold, or they're backed by silver. By the way, crazy idea. I don't know. You go back 50 years and you actually had a dollar that was called a silver certificate. It was a certificate that was backed by physical silver, and you could go to the bank and you could ask for silver, right? And that's how you know your dollar is worth something, because you go to the bank and you go, I would like this certificate in its representation in silver back, right? And they take your certificate and they give you your silver. Whereas in today, you go back to the bank, you go, hey, this Federal Reserve note I have, I would like my gold or my silver with it. And they'd be laughing at you, be like, well, that's not backed by anything. So then why does it have value? Like, what? Gee, I wonder why we have inflation. Maybe we have a dollar that's not backed by anything, and they could just print more. And they use these clever terms like quantitative easing, right? It's just printing money. It's just counterfeit money.
So I saw that Trump has been asked about Project 2025, and he has said that he has nothing to do with it. He doesn't know who they are, whatever.
Which is true.
Is J.D. Vance a part? Like, does he know about it? Is he a part of that stuff?
I'm sure all of them know about it. It's the same thing that's going on here with Action for Liberty at the State Fair, right? Okay.
What are they?
By the way, Fox News giving this nice cozy piece, right? Okay, so fair play. Fox News is also like promoting Action for Liberty's booth. But the leftists, the people at Fox 9, not affiliated with Fox News, by the way, what they want to do is they want to shit on Action for Liberty. So they create what they consider a negative piece on them. It's the same thing they're doing with Project 2025. Let's draw this bad negative attention to Project 2025. Do you think hardly any of the people that are reporting on Project 2025 in the corporate media have read it or understand it? And by the way, the little that I've read on it is not an extreme policy measure. It's almost like the Federal Reserve part's like the status quo. It's minor little fixes. It's so ridiculously stupid.
Hold on.
Go on, Dawson.
I'll look it up.
Team All for Life earlier said, I think, about that article, says, I'm laughing at this. Sorry, it's just too crazy.
I mean, I'm not even that familiar with Project 2025 at all. I heard about it like at the first time when I was knocking doors during the Republican primary in CD2, and people are like, oh, well, this Project 2025. So somebody, I think it was Democrats, started promoting, oh, this is Project 2025 that Trump and the Republicans want. But it wasn't like they didn't start putting this out. This wasn't something that the Trump campaign or JD Vance or anybody started promoting. It's like, I don't know, if I started, and Jake, you said it's a right wing think tank or right wing policy wonk, something like this. Like, I don't know if that's the case. I mean, have you looked into it? Or?
Heritage Foundation put it out.
Okay, so somebody legit on the right did put it out, but
it's backed by
it's just like I don't know if there's somebody that some left wing people have. This is what we believe. We believe like socialized medicine and death to Israel and whatever, this whole deal, and then they go after, hey, Tim Walz, you believe death to Israel and you believe this. It's like he didn't do anything, right? Some random politician doesn't control what some left wing group starts listing out as their goals.
I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit here because I feel we would do the same thing. If there were people that were attached to a movement, which were also attached to a candidate, I would go look at what they're saying on this movement, i.e. like socialism, and I go, look, this is what this person wants.
You're talking about campaigning?
I feel we would do that. Here's the difference.
You're talking about campaigning, though, right?
I'm talking about just in general. Like, if we're talking about these globalists, we're saying, look, they're telling, like, I would tie everything to WF. The WF wants us eating bugs. They want us to owe nothing. That's what these people want. Here's the difference. They know better. They know that Donald Trump is no policy wonk. They know that. He's all over the place on policy.
Well,
right?
I guess that's my point.
We had 4 years of Donald Trump.
So I'm running, say I'm running a campaign, and there's, I don't know, Amy Klobuchar. I mean, well, I guess she's a globalist. She's probably on the record, but I'm running a campaign, and there's Amy Klobuchar has never said eat bugs, and she's never said, whatever. But I just say, well, I pick something that some Democrat group said, and I mean that's what people do when they're campaigning. But my point to Dawson is just that it's completely disingenuous. You just take it's what they do is they take something that just like say Eric Pratt, who's like kind of a rhino-y senator, you know what I mean? And then they say, well, they say Eric Pratt supports insurrection against the government. He wants to end democracy, because some person, because the January 6th protesters or whatever, and they take something that some Republican does and they put it down on Eric Pratt, who's never said a word about, he's never supported January 6th, he's never done anything, and they're just like, oh, this guy supports all these crazy things. It's like, no, he had nothing to do with it. Somebody else on the right. If you have a dichotomy, you have the right and the left. You just can't take something that the left puts out and attribute it to every Democrat, or something that the right puts out and attribute it to every Republican.
But you would agree that we would probably, I'm not saying people on the left.
People do it as a campaign strategy, but it's not, it's disingenuous.
Well,
but
to some degrees, though, I think that people hide what they really believe in because they're lying to us all the time. The problem that I have with this is it's like Trump doesn't, sure, this might influence Trump, but once again, I don't even think it's that extreme. They're creating this boogeyman, and just like what we're seeing with Fox 9, they're just going to say it. That's the media's job, is to help out the left, and we'll get into that when we do RFK. But Dawson, pull up line 17. Let's just go to where Kamala and Harris stand on the issue, because let's just attribute 2025 to Trump for a second. What does Kamala Harris and Walz believe in? Let's go to the policy page on Harris and Walz there, Dawson.
Are you deflecting?
Where's the policy page?
Oh my gosh, he's deflecting.
Where are the issues on Walz, Harris? Oh, that's right. Month of running, and they don't have it. In fact, we should just accuse them of being for Project 2025, because right now Kamala's stealing all the same issues that Trump's running on, building a wall and no taxes on tips. Maybe she believes in Project 2025. How would we know? She doesn't even have a policy part on her website. Do you think that'd be like after the About Me section and join us and donate? That'd be number 4. That would be what you'd put up on your website. No policy, none whatsoever.
Are we all together with the Project 2025 thing as a whole is pretty ridiculous then?
I can't even say because I haven't read it. But I don't.
No, I think it's ridiculous that so that what happened. This is so clever by the left, and then we're gonna. I can't wait to talk about RFK's comments.
It's the right that wrote it, right? It was
correct. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's things I would agree with in it, right, and things that I disagree on. Like literally, the Federal Reserve one does not do much of anything. It's like, to me, you got to end the Federal Reserve. They're stealing from you and me. It's a very corrupt, bad organization. So what they're doing is they're creating a boogeyman. In fact, they're doing it cleverly because the boogeyman, they know no one's going to read, right? If we went on the street and we said, what do you think about Trump's ties to Project 25? Let's go to the DFL booth. We should do this, Dawson. You're a cameraman.
We
should go to the Democrats booth. Let's give you one of those like pink vagina hats, and put a mask on you, and then people will think you're one of them. So then we'll put you at the Democrat booth. How many of them do you have? Why did you shake your head like? No, I'm just kidding. So we're gonna get you at the Democrat booth, and we're gonna ask them. We go, what do you guys think of Project 2025 and its ties to Trump, or Trump's ties to Project 2025? And I guarantee they're going to say how bad it is and all that kind of stuff. And they go, can you tell me what Project 2025 says? And I'm going to guess they aren't going to know jack shit about it. Just like us, we don't know jack shit about it.
Do they need
because it's so long. So they
if they're
created a
out there
boogeyman.
claiming-
I don't think that they.
If they're out there
need
claiming
to-
that it's so horrible, then yeah, they need to tell you why.
I don't think that they need to, if they're looking at a document that's made by a bunch of right people and they're like, oh, that's a thing made by right people, I don't like it. That seems like a pretty
so
normal
stupid. You
thing.
didn't read it.
That seems like a
If you don't
very
know what it
very
says.
normal thing to do.
What's a very normal thing to do?
For someone on the left to look at something on the right and just be like, nah, I don't
To
like it.
essentially just look at the author and then
it's normal for people
say
who don't think are highly unintellectual and just
Yeah.
like just like ho hum. I'm general public. I don't look into anything. I'm pretty stupid. Yeah, everything that's on the right is bad. Everything on the left is good. Oh no. I mean, seriously, like that. You talk about a low IQ individual who doesn't think. Yeah, that is. It's really and it's to me.
You mean like the
Failed
majority?
candidate says I support Project
very-
2025, and I've heard of people saying that the
majority
more
of
they
what,
read, the
Dawson?
more they agree with it.
1 second.
People on the right say that. So I
Well,
am
right,
curious
but
to
once
read through
again,
it.
who's going to read all this stuff? And it's like, is this some big secret? What Project 2025 is? Like, conservatives talk all the time about what they want to do. And by the way, it's not extreme. It's usually going back to the founding of this country. I would say the extreme part. This is the other thing that bothers me about modern day politics. The radicals are the left. You have to look at it. They're the left. They want to go more towards socialism, which is the European model. Can we agree on that? That's the model that they are going towards. They also think that's fine butchering up 6-year-old children.
Yeah, and
because they think they're a
44.
woman.
And
What's
Bauer 44 says Harris-Walz policy promote sexualization of children, glorify abortion, and reject family.
Right.
Pretty much.
Do you think that those are the main things that a typical Democrat would care about?
Well, what's a typical Democrat? Are you talking about a politician? Are you talking about a Democrat strategist? Are you talking about a voter?
A voter, like just
Okay,
someone generally
very
on
good
the-
question, Dawson. I appreciate this question. I love it because I have some great insight in this because I've been knocking a lot of doors recently. Just started after the primary for my local House candidate, Nathan Hirschbach, and his campaign. And we're talking with these voters, and people say, "Oh, I voted Democrat my whole life. I drove a city bus for 19 years in the union." Right? So Democrat voters, this is what Dawson's talking about, and they'll say, "I voted Democrat my whole life," but it really. Kamala Harris, I don't know. I don't like Trump, but I don't like Harris, and I don't think I'm going to vote this fall because, they think that a boy can become a girl. I'll tell you what, if you're born a boy, you're a boy. And then, like, another guy who was a Navy vet said, like, I remember when I was in the Navy and some kind of beach that they were on, and there was batteries in the ocean and batteries on the beach or whatever, and he was like, this is so bad for the environment. He goes, they have these batteries in these cars, these idiots on the left. And I've been a lifelong Democrat. And these idiots have these big batteries, and they can never dispose of them. And this is going to be worse for the environment. These electric cars are way worse than the gas cars. And what's another thing? The banning the coal power, the crime. People are like, you come to a stoplight in Minneapolis, and it's night. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and the light turns red, and you think, oh, I see some people around here, like milling about. Like, I might run this red light because there's people around here, they might pull a gun on me and carjack me. And the people literally running red lights and say, I'm not going to park my car on the street because my catalytic converter will be gone in the morning. These are lifelong Democrat voters. And what they think is they don't agree with the crap that's being pushed by their politicians, by their activist class. But, as to my point before, Republicans and Democrats, for the most part, they vote straight ticket. They vote the letter that's behind their name. And that's why Minnesota, which was a blue state, was blue all over the place. It's red everywhere but in the cities. And now in my suburban community of Inver Grove Heights, you got lifelong Democrats that are like, I don't like Trump. Like if it wasn't for Trump, they probably would be voting Republican, but they're like, I don't like Trump, but I'll vote for you guy for House because I'm like, well, Mary Clarity voted to ban gas lawnmowers. The guy I'm supporting, Nathan, he's owned the same lawnmower for 20 years. He fixes it when it breaks. That's normal. She's extreme. She wants to ban gas lawnmowers. She wants to, transition children to different genders as teenagers and stuff like this. And yeah, the average Democrat voters don't like it. There's like a small percentage. I mean, maybe it's 25% of the population that's on the left. Like they just eat up all the left-wing media, the left-wing, everything they can. And yeah, maybe they like all the 87 genders and the socialism and all this kind of stuff. But the average older voters that are Republicans or Democrats, they don't buy into that stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to say what motivates them. It's hard to say average, right?
Well, the Democratic Party that these guys belong to, the Democratic Party was supposed to represent the working class. And so when I talk to voters and I say, our grandparents voted Democrat because the poor and the middle class needed someone to look out for them. Today's Democrats will ban coal power in the name of climate change, and it's going to triple or quadruple your electric bill. What does that do for the poor, the middle class, the lower middle class, like the people on fixed incomes? It screws over the poor and the middle class. The Democrats could care less about the poor and the middle class. They'll triple and quadruple their electric bills for their little, climate change religion or whatever. And it's like, and people that live in Inver Grove Heights are like, look, I understand that, Inver Grove Heights is nothing, and even Minnesota is, God knows, 1/10 to 1% of the, carbon emissions in our state. So we're going to ban coal power in our state, and it's 1/10 to 1% or whatever, or less than that of what's going on in the world. And China and India are doing all this stuff. It's going to accomplish nothing, but we're going to quadruple our electric bills, and all the poor and people on fixed incomes and Social Security will suffer.
Which is something we can measure, by the way.
We don't want that.
We can't measure damn result on global climate temperatures. I was going to say change global climate temperatures from the policy that Tim Walz got behind. But you know what we can measure? The economic impact of going completely to renewable energy in Minnesota. First of all, one really easy way we could tell the economic impact is they're going to spend $1 billion+ bringing lines all the way down to southern Minnesota to this new solar farm that they're building. So that's
over
one
farmland.
Easy impact, let alone
over farmland where they can grow
over
food.
Farmland. Yeah, although
don't put the solar power in like the desert or somewhere like that where there's nothing. Put it in the farmland.
North Amend says it'll be interesting to see how many actually realize now that RFK left.
Yeah, I got to get to that story. There's so much. Okay, I got to get a little bit more time there because I really want to get to that story. By the way, speaking of power, my wife says that we can. So the neighbor, who's a fan of the show, by the way, I think she'd blush if I said her name on air. I won't say it, Amber. All right, so she spoke to a human at Excel, and they told her we can expect to have power restored Wednesday at 4 p.m. See, it was a joke when we were just talking because that's what it says on the website. You just think it's just like the standard thing. Apparently, a human is saying Wednesday at 4 p.m. Tushi.
Well, I bet they're looking it up.
Yeah, they're probably just looking at the same screen too. Exactly.
You're right. That's probably all they're like, hold on 1 second.
I worked in technical support. That's exactly what we do. Yeah, we.
Well,
that's true. But a lot of customers probably don't even go online.
There's somebody in corporate or whatever. And of course, this is basically a state-sponsored monopoly. I mean, they don't want to tell somebody your power will be on at 1 because then it's not on at 1. Everybody's pissed off. So you tell them some later time where it will absolutely be on by then. Now, it might be on 2 days before then, but they tell everybody your power will be on by noon on Thursday, and then if it's on Wednesday, then people are happy. Versus if you tell them it's be on at 8 p.m. tonight, and 8 p.m. comes and they're trying to put their kids to bed and there's no power and they're pissed off.
Yeah. Let's go to the RFK. I got to talk about this. Man, I really, it's rare that I actually am like, I wish I had a show today. And I wish I had a show Friday evening. Because, did you guys watch the speech? Did you watch it, Bridget?
I did, yeah.
I started, but I didn't finish it.
Okay. This was my write-up on Truth Hurts. Maybe I had to do this on Saturday. Because, I think this came Friday afternoon. Citing the Ukraine war, you can go to truthhurtsnews.com, by the way, to read this. Citing the Ukraine war, the war on free speech, and the war on our children's health as the key reasons for his presidential run, RFK Jr. took the podium in Arizona Friday afternoon to announce he is suspending his campaign on the fear that continuing it would help Kamala Harris win. By the way, this wasn't a shocking story. His VP, and we talked about this on the Thursday show, or Tuesday show probably, they were already alluding to this might happen. But this was kind of a big controversy. First of all, it's the Kennedys, so like big Democrat family. and he literally ran as a Democrat in this election cycle. The other big thing here is his wife is Hollywood. Like, I was going to say Hollywood.
What do you mean he ran as a Democrat this election cycle?
RFK initially was running as a Democrat. Remember,
Oh, really?
He was primarying Joe Biden.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought he was always running as an independent.
And that he cited this, and I'll get into it, why he decided to make this move. But his wife comes right out of Hollywood. She's Cheryl Hines from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, she's in other things, some movies and stuff, but that's what I think she's most popular for. She plays Larry David's wife and then ex-wife on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Great show, by the way. All Democrats on it, though. Actually, the later seasons got Vince Vaughn, who's not. Kennedy not only believed Kamala would be terrible as president on those issues, she wouldn't even agree to meet with him to discuss the importance. On the other hand, RFK Jr. and Trump have conversed many times recently, and according to Kennedy, Trump himself, his sons, and some of his top donors welcome RFK Jr. to help lead on those issues in a second term in the White House if Trump is elected in November. The endorsement Trump was highly anticipated after Kennedy's running mate, Nicole Shanahan, mentioned earlier this week that they were likely to do it. According to RFK Jr. in the press conference, he will still remain on the ballot in reliably red and blue states and encourage supporters to vote for him there, but his campaign would be withdrawing his name in the battleground states. Fox News shows the current Real Clear Politics polling matchup between Trump, Harris, RFK. Now look at this. Every single one of these matchups in these important states, RFK was at least drawing 4%. Now the thinking, and MAGA Jesse said this from the get-go, he always thought that RFK was stealing from Trump. I wasn't convinced of that, but certainly once Biden was off the ticket, I believed it to be true as well. Clearly, RFK believed it, and he thought the greater tragedy was to allow the shenanigans like rigging a primary, right, so he couldn't take on Joe Biden, was a bigger threat to our future. Plus, if you're RFK... Listen, Tulsi Gabbard endorsed Trump yesterday. I kind of feel like that's a grift, okay? I don't know if that one really does much. But if you listen to RFK, I got to say, I kind of feel like he's telling the truth on a lot of things. And I think he made a good assessment. I think it cost him a little bit because his damn wife does not like Trump. She's a anti-Trump Hollywood elite. Maybe not elite, but she's a Hollywood type.
Doesn't that just make him like the ultimate grifter? Like he'll even go against his wife's wishes?
You can look at it that way, or you really believe it.
Why is he going against his wife's wishes? I mean, for what he said, and I think, like,
doesn't he also
he's
talk
what,
about
74 years old or something,
doing that?
right?
She wasn't okay with it. He did a tweet.
He's kind of
like
approaching.
He respects his wife. He loves his wife, but unfortunately. I
thought she was like supportive though. Like she didn't agree, but she was supportive of his decisions because she understood.
She probably supports him as a person, but I don't think she was.
I bet she probably supports his career because someone's got to pay the bills.
So I mean, he's.
I think RFK is doing just fine, and Cheryl Hines is doing just fine.
Well,
by
now
the way.
he's got a cabinet seat, right? Or he's gonna.
I'm not convinced he'll get a cabinet seat, but I bet he'll get some.
If you don't think that these guys have plenty of money without any government job, I mean, look what he's said, and it's also the legacy of, like I talked about, just before, the Democrats used to care about the poor and the middle class. That was the legacy of the party. They were supposed to care about the poor and the middle class. Like they clearly don't anymore, right? They'll destroy the poor and the middle class for their corporate interest or whatever. Now Kennedy said they're the party of big pharma, and even the food stuff. I mean, even for people in the left-wing people in this country they'll point to, well, hey, in Europe, you look at, I don't know, Fruit Loops in Europe, and there's like 5 ingredients, and it's like the color is from beet powder or something like this. You look at all the ingredients of any food around here that people eat, it's just loaded with crap that's banned in half these other countries, and everybody's sick, everybody's got diseases, everybody's got allergies, everybody's got, I mean, just it's insane. And like, so Kennedy has been, it's an issue that's important to him, that people are eating toxic, quote, food, unquote,
well, not just people, children is kind of what he's saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then there's lifelong health issues, and big pharma gets rich, and corporate America gets rich. The foreign wars, these like the Ukraine stuff. Literally, I mean, this is something, as a Ron Paul supporter in 07, 08, 2011, 2012, like looking at these wars and saying, boy, talk about a principled stance to say, I don't think that we should be sending American, men and women overseas to be, forced to, like say, Iraq didn't, attack us or whatever.
Right.
And they're over there, forced to kill people and come back with PTSD and committing suicide and stuff. All this money, all this money that's being spent on it, and then soldiers coming home with no legs, and they watch their friends die. They're all getting messed up. I mean, I had friends that were over there, and they have so many issues from what they saw and what they did and stuff that's over there. And why are we involved in these wars again and again and again?
By the way, Kennedy said that just on that issue alone would give him a reason to endorse Trump over Kamala.
He did, exactly.
Yeah,
and
but he said, but there's more than that.
So,
and I agree. This is where I'm leaning here. Is I plan on voting for Trump, and that's a major reason. Trump. Let's just be honest about Trump. Okay, he says things right, and I don't know how much truth there is to it, but he says, if I was president, that Ukrainian war would be done in 24 hours. It sounds like him boasting. I do believe there's a chance it could end relatively quick. And I do believe Trump's the guy. And when pressed on it, and of course you don't want to show all your cards, but when pressed about it, I think this was on CNN, he said, because I know what both sides want. And it's like, you know what? I think the Biden cabinet does too. They're the ones that didn't allow the negotiations to happen. So I think there is a safe bet that Trump could get it done. And if he could save these lives in Ukraine, a ridiculously stupid war, not that Putin's some innocent guy here, by the way, but you have to understand Putin had a reason that's it's completely ignored by the mainstream corporate media and the Democrat Party. He had a reason for doing what he did. They just want to ignore that. But he's got a reason, and so does Ukrainian people. By the way, Ukraine's not wielding any big stick. They're basically a welfare state wanting us to fund the whole war, right? So they don't have that much negotiation tips. The problem is there's probably great Ukrainians out there, and they're just falling prey to their stupid leaders, corrupt, stupid leaders. From
the taxpayers to the U.S. government, to the Ukrainian government, to Burisma, to Hunter Biden, 10% back to Joe.
There you go. I mean, so now, Jocelyn, pull up C2. This is what I think. I mean, RFK had some bangers in this. I'm just going to tell you, I want you to watch it, and I posted a link when it started in a good spot. But this is the best line from it, 26 seconds to post on my Twitter page. The best line from what RFK said, just talking about the rig system, but this is why it really spoke to me. And I think it's going to speak to you. Are you sick and tired of watching a very unpopular vice president, Kamala Harris, all of a sudden becoming the savior of our republic? Actually, the democracy to them, right? But the savior, like there's no wrong she could do. Doesn't have to give a speech. Is not probably going to even debate Trump. Apparently, she's pretty much backing out of that. She has no policy on her website. She's not won a single primary vote. The last primary she was in, she dropped out before even earning a delegate vote. And all of a sudden, she's the savior? This rigged system? And RFK beautifully calls this out. Watch this clip.
Instead of showing us her substance and character, the DNC and its media organs engineered a surge of popularity for Vice President Harris based upon, well, nothing. No policies, no interviews, no debates, only smoke and mirrors and balloons in a highly produced Chicago circus. Instead of showing us her substance and character,
surge of popularity for Vice President Harris based upon nothing. Nothing. No policies. She has still not done an interview. Not one interview. I don't think she's going to debate. Did you see Quentin Tarantino on Bill Maher's shows? Like, I don't think she should even do an interview of this rest of this, the whole campaign.
Isn't the joke that Trump is digging his own grave or whatever?
What do you mean?
Like, she doesn't have to try to compete because Trump is...
Oh, yeah. That's their idea. This is the thing, is I don't know if it's going to work. Failed candidate.
Oh, $5. Vote for Trump and find out who killed JFK. Oh, yeah, I was going to say that too. He promised. But he also promised that last election time he ran and didn't do it.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, you wonder why, and that's why I say...
It does make me really wonder why. I'm like, why did he get threatened? Why did he not...
This is why I say
show us this
Trump support is like that ex-girlfriend. You're like, we broke up for all the right reasons, but she was really good on this. And then you're like going back. It's like, that's the problem with Trump. Because there's like, listen, the mainstream media, the leftists, you can't take, they just hate Trump. They can't get over Trump. You can't do anything right. And they lie about him nonstop. But there are rational reasons to really not trust Trump. By the way, every politician's like that. But on the other hand, I kind of think Trump's probably one of the most honest politicians I've said. He lies through his teeth about like crowd sizes. So what? I think he's actually quite honest about some of the things that are really important. You know, last I saw, he didn't lie about getting us into a war that cost trillions of dollars and many lives lost. In fact, the Pentagon lied to him about troop numbers. So it's like, I kind of think Trump, is there really a person on our thing called Bill Dingston's mom? My God. What is going on in the comment section?
I personally, again, I'm not as deep into politics as all of you guys are, but looking at it just on the face and what I see, I think it's pretty clear that RFK was gonna support whoever would give him a cabinet position or whatever.
I don't see that.
100% disagree. 100% disagree. The guy has his legacy, his actual legacy of who he is and what he's been in 70 years life as a Kennedy and
you think he gives a shit about that?
Well, what is a cabinet position to a Kennedy is nothing.
Yeah.
To be, I'm a member of the cabinet and Donald Trump's cabinet. That is nothing. It's nothing compared to. It's like it's like when
he was running for president. And he couldn't get that, so
yeah, because he doesn't like when you're a part of a political legacy. I mean, you're literally a part of like a political family that was the Democrat Party and everything. I mean, everything that he stands for is that he stands for is principled. It's like being, I don't know, like if you were, formerly a president or something like this, and now you want to go be a city councilman or something. Like being on Trump's cabinet is nothing to him. Nothing. It doesn't do anything. What he said.
His family was a part of the political thing. He was not, right? He was never in office or didn't hold any positions like that, right?
I don't know what he was. I mean, what he did.
I mean, his career as a lawyer, environmental lawyer, to be more specific.
Okay, so he runs for president, and he doesn't get it. So instead, he says, "Hey, like, I'll support you, I'll endorse you, but I would like a place in your whatever."
If I didn't know any better, I would just think this is a troll because that is like, I mean, sorry to be mean, but like that's one of the dumbest takes I've heard.
Why?
Like this is, I mean, he's the.
You're just retarded.
No,
Dawson.
I mean he's
just retarded.
he's somebody. He has more influence. I mean, when Bobby Kennedy, Jr. like speaks, people listen. Everyone knows who he is. He's got an audience. He's even running for president. Even was nothing. It's like obviously he was. I mean, I know. I think almost anybody knew who knows anything about politics and elections. Like from the moment he announced he's not going to win, there's no chance like somebody's going to win. And I've told folks a year ago or something. Oh, he's polling at 14%. I'm like, yeah. And then everybody by the election they vote for the lesser of two evils, Republican or Democrat, and he'll get 1%. Like that's anybody that knows anything about politics.
Which
knows
I think honestly he thought there was a path, and there was a path, but it just generally you're right. That's the direction it goes, and it whittled down to like 5%,
Bill Dingston's
which is
mom has a
huge.
comment. RFK Jr. is already a legacy in his own right. He's not doing this for clout. He's doing this to save America because Kamala Harris is a puppet for those trying to destroy America.
It's like Bill Dingston's mom is very.
Now the politicians actually care about us, right?
No, but also his big thing is going against Big
he's
Pharma,
not-
and he's done so much work on that for years. And so I think his thing is like the children and the sickness in the country.
Well, but see what
JFK
Dawson's saying, I would hold on.
Yeah.
I think Dawson's got the right skepticism. It's like I've got a massively huge bullshit meter. Like I've watched politics long enough, and it's like whatever, that's bullshit, right? That it's not going off on RFK. But you haven't watched the speech, have you?
I did watch a majority of it. I had to stop after for the last 3 minutes or something like that. I can't remember.
By the way, the last 3 minutes were like the best part.
Like every politician.
Because then he's making the emotional appeal that it's just about like the biggest issue is the future children, and he makes this argument. He goes, by the way, Kamala wouldn't even talk to him. They wouldn't even sit down and talk to him.
So he wanted to meet up with
her. So maybe he's shopping out. No, and I get that's fair, but I think there's a good argument for it. So he says if Kamala gets in and it's 8 years, he's like, I'm 70 years old. And he's a healthy 70 years old. He's jacked.
He's
It's
70.
crazy. Yeah, he's
he
jacked.
is jacked. I didn't realize he's 70.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I think he might be taking some TRT, by the way. There's just no way you look like that at 70. But, hey, he's also eating a lot healthier than a lot of us, so credit where it's due. Plus, he doesn't drink or do heroin. He used to be a heroin addict, right? So anyhow, he says, I'm probably good for another decade. If Kamala gets in, that's 8 years. It's pretty much the whole time I would have to be effective gone, right? Because she doesn't even want to listen to these things. So, Dawson, I guess it is a little icky because it's like you're shopping around and it's like your endorsement, like, oh, you're just selling out your influence. But to me, it's almost like because it's the issue that matters, right? Now, I don't know how he squares away with the things he disagrees with Trump on, but at least Trump's like, I will put your issues front and center. And as long as he follows through, it's a judgment call, then good on him, because the issues should matter more than any prestige or power. And so when I listen to RFK talk and I look at this, I go, I kind of believe he's telling the truth here.
But then he is going for that power and prestige.
No. I'm saying he's going for the issue. That's the core thing. As long as my issue. So it's like there was this funny trope. You probably remember this. Back in the day, it was all the candidates for 2012 and their books, because when you run for president, you got to run for a book. And it had all their books stacked together. There's probably like 9 of them. And one stood out, and it was Ron Paul's book. And you know why it stood out? Do you know? Do you remember this?
I know the only one that didn't have his face on it.
It's the only one that didn't have a picture of the candidate on it. Ron Paul's book, I think at the time, was Liberty Defined. Maybe it was Revolution here, right? I think it was the Revolution, a manifesto. Ron Paul. Everyone else had that picture because, of course, you're running for office, and what is and I think Ron Paul honestly is the most genuine politician I've seen in my lifetime. He's running on the issues. And so he basically sees no path for victory because a lot of the RNC cheated, but he wasn't going to win anyhow in 2012. But he couldn't beat Romney in the votes, the delegate votes, right? And they asked, are you going to endorse Mitt Romney? And he goes, I have to see what he's going to run on. If he embraces the issues I was running on, then I might consider it. Isn't that what we want? If you truly embrace these ideas and you believe that person's been genuine, right? Then what's wrong with that as long as ideals are greater? Then it's a judgment call because you're right, Dawson. If all you're doing is positioning yourself for some future position or like a cabinet, that's a different story. You're right. Then it's all about power. So this is completely subjective. I'm just looking at RFK and I go, I kind of think he's doing it for the right reasons. Yeah, and I really do. He's taking a lot of risk.
Walk back what I said a little bit, or maybe just a little bit, be a little nicer to Dawson. It's like that. It's not a bad take. I said like that's like such a dumb take. It's not a bad take. Like almost every time. It's like maybe I think that Kennedy and Ron Paul are like the 1 in 1,000. 1 in 1,000, 1 in more than 1,000 that are like actual principled people that have proven over decades and decades that they stand for what they believe in and they've stood up for it. I mean, when you have all this clout and all this power, he could have been elected to anything before if he wanted to. You know what I mean? This is not a typical. It's like JFK was, he's killed for being an honest, true statesman and not a corrupt politician. Trying to end the Federal Reserve or whatever. Like these guys are, like JFK was the 1 in 1,000 too, and he was killed for it. Ron Paul and RFK Jr. and stuff like this is so. You got the right take 999 times out of 1,000. It's just that.
But this one specifically,
because his entire life.
Hold on, we got a rumble rant. I want to go back to we got a rumble rant here.
Tucker has a comment says Unity Party is greater than the Uniparty.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So this one time, now that he has endorsed Trump, this is the time when it's like, no, he cares about the people.
North Minneapolis, North Minnesota says the cabinet position is not prestigious to a Kennedy. That's what I mean.
But the Attorney General would be.
Anybody that
Attorney General would. You got to admit that. RFK was Attorney General.
You know that a Kennedy could have been elected, and many of them were, right? You could run.
Yeah, that's RFK's.
People could run.
RFK's uncle was president. RFK's dad was the Attorney General and probably going to be the next president.
And his cousins were all.
He was leading in the polls.
Congressman.
He was leading the polls before he was assassinated during the primary. By the way, and then his uncle was like one of the longest-serving U.S. senators.
RFK Jr. could have been a congressman like any year of his life. He could have been a U.S. senator any time. You know, like basically, Hillary Clinton moved to New York and became a senator or whatever. It's like if this guy had ambitions to be a politician, he could have been elected as a U.S. senator anywhere, anytime, a congressman anywhere, anytime.
Running right now.
What's that? Well, yeah, exactly.
Is it possible he's running for the issues? Is it possible?
Yeah, exactly.
Why didn't he run for him before?
He's got a 70-year, 60-year track record or whatever.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Why didn't he run before?
Yep.
I think Trump's never been as bad.
Exactly my point.
Why
He's
does
never
Action
ran
for
before.
Liberty have two Democrats on the events, former Democrats on the events planning team? Because people wake up. You said Lisa was a Democrat. She woke up to writing that the Democrats aren't there for.
Why did he never
Tina,
run before?
I don't know how much of a Democrat Tina really is, but she lives in St. Paul. But I'm sure she was at some point. Realizes no, this COVID narrative is completely wrong. I've met so many people that got their eyes woken up during COVID. So you ask, why is he running now? I don't know. Maybe in just the last 4 years alone, politics has shifted so dynamically where you have an assassination attempt on the president, which I possibly do believe was a covert job.
I think he might remember his uncle getting assassinated, but this one,
his dad.
I think he remembers his dad getting assassinated better than his uncle, by the way, because he was older.
That means that the Trump assassination is what woke him up to it, right?
No, I mean it's. I don't know. Are you trying to make? Are you trying to make my point for me that he's never ran for office in the 70s? Well, why is he running now? It's like I think if you're a political hack,
why didn't Trump run before 2016?
If you're a political hack, then he would have been running. Like I said, he would. He's a Kennedy. He could have been in Congress or the Senate for the last 50 years if he wanted to be. Right. Clearly, he hasn't. He's. Anybody can look at the evidence, and maybe I don't know. Maybe we haven't looked at him that much. Like his legacy, I mean, like he's got a legacy of his own. His whole entire life he's been fighting for this kind of stuff, and that's as a Democrat. I would say, right? He didn't try to just be a senator, be a congressman, and get in there and make all the money and do all the crap.
No, hold on. And you're actually making an interesting point. I don't know if you thought of this, Dawson. Your idea is that he is just doing this for power and prestige. It's subjective, right? That's your call. I don't see it that way, but it's possible. But if he was doing that, wouldn't the easier path be to work with Kamala's people and go, listen, I'll stay in this race and I'll take the campaign away from Trump?
It would be, but
because he's already at home in the Democrat Party.
Yes, absolutely, it would be. But Kamala would have him come to her and she'd be like, oh, you're some anti-vax freak who doesn't like microwaves or whatever. And so I'm not going to talk to you.
Well, then isn't that more reason for him to do it just on a principle standpoint?
Then he better run over to the Republicans and say, guys, the Democrats didn't want me. Can I come into your playroom and play?
Yeah, but they're at least embracing the ideas. Like, if you think about the three policy issues he mentions here, censorship. Republicans, at least a lot of the Republican leadership, no, let me rephrase that. That was a bad way to put it. Oh. I don't believe that for a second. Lindsey Graham will censor the shit out of you, won't he?
Yep.
So will the turtle. Okay. A lot of new age Republicans, the future of the Republicans, are good on censorship. Trump, J.D. Vance, they're good on censorship, okay? That's the old turtles that don't think the right way on that issue. All right, so they're there with Robert Kennedy Jr. on that. They're there with him on the Ukraine war, right? I mean, we blast Republicans all the time on this show. The rhinos like Tom Emmer and Michelle Fischbach for voting for this crap. Or, sorry, Michelle Fischbach for getting it past the Rules Committee and then voting against it on the House floor. We didn't catch that one. So they're the ones that are out of step. So the new age Republicans agree with RFK. And then the third one, the child nutrition issue, that used to be a leftist issue. It was the leftist hippies that were talking about health issues, food and all that kind of stuff. Nowadays, that has gravitated over to the conservative ranks. They're not finding a home with the leftists. And part of the reason is the leftists are so bought and paid for by corporate America.
The one that's just.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Bill Dinkman and his mom, back and forth.
Bill Dinkman and his mom, really? Are these
What's the one that just went off the screen?
I don't know. It's different up there. Okay, I think I do know, actually, because I can see it. Bill Dinkman's mom says, I'm skeptical of anyone who doubts a man with a proven lifelong record of making selfless, positive changes in this country, but defends a woman who has risen up in politics without even being voted in.
So I don't know where I defended Kamala and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm just shitting on RFK Jr. I think that it's interesting that having an anti-RFK Jr. stance would make me a Kamala worshiper. That's very weird to say. Oh, you don't like that? You must be a Democrat.
Somebody earlier on though, I said, Dawson, Where was that comment? It was actually good. It said,
Bill Dingsman's
I'm
mom.
surprised.
Oh, we got a new person.
Oh, it was Bill Dingsman's mom.
Yep.
Says, Dawson, don't you question why Kamala refuses to go on record or on camera with her policies?
Well, so I think that I'm pretty sure that she has talked about her policies plenty. I don't know what on record means besides.
Since
like,
she's
being
been running for
recorded.
president, she's
hasn't
done
done,
nothing
like, a
but
single
scripted.
interview.
Yeah,
Or-
scripted. She's done a media scrum, at least one media scrum, maybe two, and they're very short. And we played the whole entirety of one on here.
So I think that
Bionic Baker, by the way, we got a new person
Yeah.
in there. Good
Good
Tushy's
Tushy's
points.
Good
Great
to
to hear
see
from
ya.
you. Somebody else was new, I think, in there too. William Howard Tasbat says exactly Tushy's point. I trust RFK is doing an honorable thing here because he's consistently done hard things for his principles when he could do really easy things for power.
Yeah, that was my point. He's very succinct. He was able to state it more succinctly than I ever could.
There you
well,
go.
So you guys, this is something that I have to take in both sides of media. I do watch like not conservative media, fake news or whatever, because you have to at this point. Because if you don't, then you're just in some kind of echo chamber one way or another. And I used to be in the liberal echo chamber when I was at the U, and I got out of that. And now I'm working at this one where it's very right-facing people all the time. So the interesting thing that I'm seeing is the left media absolutely has talked about her policies. And she has on Twitter talked about, like, I want to give however much money to homeowners for their first home or whatever. You
Yeah,
know?
that's like the one policy issue
There's
she's really
more than
come out
that,
with.
is what I'm saying, though. So
What's
when
that?
you don't look at like different kinds of media, you just don't know that she has any policy.
No, hold on.
Her
I think
website
it's
has
very
no
clear we look
policy.
at a lot of
She's
media. We
never-
read
yeah.
Fox 9 that was critical of Action for Liberty's booth today. We read media. We are always looking
Right,
at
because
this
it
media
said
because
it-
we want to report on
because
how.
it said A for L in it. That's why you looked at the Fox 9. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you
but
wouldn't
we
get the-
also talk about Kamala, so we're looking at the media
Well,
that's
so why are
reporting
you
on
saying that
Kamala.
She doesn't talk about her policies
Because
does
she
all those.
doesn't.
She
I mean,
literally
like,
has not gone off script.
Because there's like, if you
Who
look
cares
at
if she-
everyone who's ran for president in the last 50 years, there's probably 1,000 people. You couldn't find one person who has fewer policies as a candidate than 2024 Kamala. Not one. I mean, and there's 13 Republicans that ran in 2016, and every one of them had a website full of. I mean, I wonder if we could find one presidential candidate from my lifetime. I'm almost 45 years old. In the last 45 years, has there ever been a Republican or any Republican or Democrat presidential candidate that had no issues page on their website, months before the general election? I doubt that there is such a person.
Trump has an issues page on his website, and they still say it's this Project 2025.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Kamala has none, so what does she believe in?
So Dawson's
we might as
point
well
is
say it's
she
Communist Manifesto.
tweeted that she wants to give $25,000 to people, I guess, to drive up at the price of every home by $25,000, I suppose. But so, other than tweeting that she wants to make homes $25,000 more expensive, what other position has she taken anywhere ever in the last 2 months or whatever since she's been in the race?
That's dumb if you don't think that she ever has, because she's been running for president. She has had to say some policies.
No, she hasn't.
she
That's
has.
the point.
She literally has.
That's the point we're making. She's literally done, I think, a media scrum, and it was like 5 minutes long.
She took a
we
position.
Played it.
Yeah, we did.
She was just coming off the
She
bus
took a
in
position
Pennsylvania.
that they shouldn't tax tips. That was a Trump position. No tax on tips.
And these are coming from scripted. These are coming from
finish the wall. Yeah,
scripted.
yep.
Who cares if it's scripted? Not
It
everybody
matters
is Trump.
all the difference.
No, it doesn't. Nobody Trump is the guy who doesn't go on script, and people love it. Cool.
No,
It's
but
on
at least
stage.
Trump is answering. He's doing interviews with the media. He's willing to debate.
That's
He's
true.
actually debating.
She has
Now,
done
listen, we faulted Trump for not debating in the primary season. On this, I mean, obviously Jesse goes, no, he shouldn't debate. I'm like, yes, he should. It's actually why I'm playing hard to get with Trump. Like, you didn't debate the guys in the press. I understand the politics of it, but you didn't debate. But listen, she's literally run for president for now a month, and she's not done a single interview. So that's
So
insanity.
that means that she doesn't have any policies whatsoever, and
Yeah.
she's
We don't know what she's
Yeah,
running
you
on
need
as
to be
president.
transparent, and there's
You
no
guys-
I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. Let me clarify.
Yeah.
We kind of know what she's running on as president, at least in the economic one, because she's got a couple policies issues under there.
So she does have policies.
Yeah,
That's
I should
literally my
rephrase what I'm
argument,
trying
is
to
that
say
she
is
does have
she
policies.
hasn't actually had to get out there and defend it and elaborate on it.
Okay.
Okay, this is what RFK says. Instead of showing us her substance and character, The DNC and its media organs engineered a surge of popularity for Vice President Harris based upon nothing. No policies, no interviews, no debates, only smoke and mirrors and balloons and a highly produced Chicago circus.
Exactly.
Usually what you do is you have a policy page, you release the stuff, and then you do interviews to defend it. And by the way, if you're Trump, they're going to tear it apart and ask you every little detail about it, which is fine. It's fair play. You're running for office. But Kamala has not only not done that, the media isn't even getting her on anything.
We could debate whether or not she's mentioned something on Twitter or mentioned one thing here or there.
Yep,
right. So that we could say that. But I would submit to that if you would submit to the fact that she stated fewer policy positions or stated less about what she stands for, believes, or wants to do than any president in my lifetime. Any candidate for president in my entire lifetime. It's 2 months before the election. You will not find one person, not one of the 100 more people, because you got Republicans and Democrats every time. In the primaries, right? You got in 2016 there was 13 Republicans and how many Democrats that are running in a primary, and Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and everybody else policies on the website. Everyone has debates and they argue why they believe what they believe and why they're championing what they're doing and everything like that. And she has done less of that than anyone in the last 45 years that I've been alive. And as long as we agree on that, then you could say, well, maybe she put out a tweet, something like this. She
has talked about it. She does have policies, which was my whole argument from the beginning. Not that she.
Okay, so she has policies. It's just far less like she's.
Yep, sure. She has less
basically,
policies, but
she said nothing. She's basically mentioned one thing in passing and put one thing on Twitter, but
not
like
in passing. She
but
has
no,
stood by those things and has talked about.
Damn.
them.
what has she stood by or talked with?
I was just gonna. I looked
curious,
up Vermin. I was looking at Vermin Supreme. I was like, I wonder if Vermin Supreme.
Vermin Supreme's got more
No, he doesn't have policy. No, he doesn't have it on his website either.
Mandatory toothbrushing laws, a pony for every
American. I know,
American.
but it's not on his website. Those are from last go around.
Well, I know what his policies are more than her, and so I don't know. Dawson knows some policies that Kamala has. What are some of the policies that
I was going to say most
she
of the
has and
support call
advocates
can't
for?
list a single accomplishment or policy.
Well, hold on. Alpha News just did this. Let's go to Alpha News. Click on Alpha News.
Wait a minute. Does Alpha News have her policies?
No. Go to Alpha News. No, this is actually an interesting piece.
You don't even have her policies, Dawson. That's what I'm asking. What did she stand for?
Failed candidate says the show gets worse every time Dawson opens his mouth.
What did he say?
Yeah, so supposedly she has a policy of giving $25,000 to people which is just going to drive the price home. So that's, I mean, is that a policy of all the things, the Ukrainian war, everything that's going on? It's basically, I mean, is that a policy? It's like a little. I'm going to forgive your student loans, or I'm going to give you $25,000 to buy a house.
Those sound like policies too.
Okay, maybe that's like, you could say that's a policy, even though it's basically just
But it is a policy.
Okay, all right, it's policy. We're going to give $25,000 to people to buy a house. All right, so it's.
I mean, I don't like it either necessarily, but it is a policy. You have to she does have policies. That's my point.
Is that's a policy that's well thought through that she's
Who cares
decided?
if it's well thought through? Trump.
Well, I mean,
you see, come on, you're playing a fun game with us, Dawson.
Everybody says things.
You know what we're saying.
Ultimately, knows.
You don't see
we're saying elaborate policies.
I can't find somebody running for state representative that said fewer things about where they actually stand on something.
I literally came in here and said Kamala does have policies. They're not on her website, but she has them, and you guys.
But you know exactly what we've been saying from the get-go. She's not having it on her website. She hasn't had to answer it. She's not going to probably debate
mentioning
Trump.
Something in passing about giving people $25,000. It's like, oh yeah, we're not going to tax people's tips,
which is something that Trump loves. He loves tweeting about stuff he believes, and Kamala does it too.
Right.
That's a policy.
And the difference here is Trump's actually got a website that says what his policies are, and Trump actually talks about it with the media. Because guess what? Otherwise, it's just scripted, and it's a big show, just like RFK so eloquently states.
Okay, Bill Denkson's mom. I'm assuming that's your mom, Bill Denkston, wherever you are. Please show us on Kamala's website where her policies are listed. It's standard issue. Is that required by law? I don't think it is.
Oh my God! We got breaking news, not political related here. Sorry, I want to get off this because I got to go in the post show. Line 20, Dawson. The numbers for the state fair just showed up. By the way, I want the state fair to do well, but look in the left column. They didn't even have 100,000 people yesterday.
Whoa.
80,546 people at the Minnesota State Fair on Monday.
It was disgusting.
I mean, I get it. Like, it was bad. So that's terrible. Because they set a first and second day record this year. You see the asterisk, the bold and asterisk on the top left. Those are first day records. Yesterday, I mean, just look at the last 2 years, those are 134,000 and 120,000. It didn't even crack 81,000 people. That's so insane. All right. Go back to that article on Truth Hurts News. The last bit of this here.
Which one?
My article on truthhurtsnews.com.
RFK,
yeah.
Yep.
RFK Jr. ended the speech on an emotional appeal to save the children of this country who are being led down a path of health failure by the corruption of big money interests in politics. While he alluded to his wife, actress Cheryl Hines, and other people in his family not being happy about the support for Trump, he believes the best thing he could do to stop the epidemic of childhood obesity is work with someone who's willing to let him in on that issue. Kennedy made it very clear that Trump was opening the door that Kamala and the Democrat power brokers kept closed to him. So Kennedy suspended his future operations and threw his support behind Donald Trump. Once again, it's subjective. I just have a big bullshit meter when it comes to politics. I've seen these liars for a long time, and I kind of think the guy was being genuine there.
Yep.
And I kind of think it was a tough one because he's got some real legitimate problems with Donald Trump. Now, there's another path forward. You just stay out of the race, but he had a little bit of ability, and if this is going to get him the good graces of Donald Trump, assuming Trump gets in and he can promote these issues, which are very noble, good issues, very virtuous,
He's
right?
super excited if he gets in somewhere with health policy and stuff like that.
And by the way, you would think that everyone's on board with this. Well, guess why not everyone's on board with it? Because it's very clear that the Democrat Party, but even the Uniparty, when it reaches over to the turtles of the world and the Republican ranks, they do not care in the end because all they are is just talking
corporate shills,
talking heads for the corporations.
Both parties
that run the party.
They just want.
Hey, we knew this during COVID. They're pushing the vaccines, this experimental drug. We see it every day. They're just corporate shills. And so, if this gives them a chance to actually break up that problem of the influence on bad nutrition in this country and other bad things like just overly vaccinating children and stuff like that. Oh shit, we're off YouTube now.
Big pharma, big food, big corporate media. I mean, that's like three, corporate, a handful of giant multinational corporations that control every freaking thing about what we eat and every single medical choice that we have and every single bit of media we consume, including up until X was bought by Elon, including the social media, and traditional media, print media, TV, everything. That's disgusting. That's why you have no choice in what you eat, your medical care, your media, and I think people will see that what Kennedy said, and this to the point, and I think a lot of people have seen, including Bill Denksman's mom, that it's like the guy has a legacy of 50, 60, 70 years of championing the people, like what the original Democratic Party was. And I really believe that. It's not like I'm not here to shit on Democrats, say go Trump, go Republicans. I'm not doing that at all. Like any politician from either party that doesn't have any issues on their website and won't say anything other than just a little thing, I'm going to tweet that I'm going to give you some money, or I'm going to say in a speech that I'm going to do something. Like, I'll criticize the hell out of every one of them because they have they just stand for nothing. They're just trying to, get elected, right? And I criticize Republicans and Democrats equally for that. And somebody that has those policies that Kennedy has, and saying it's nothing but balloons. What was that quote? It's what a beautiful
balloons and Chicago circus.
Balloons and circus and balloons. It's nothing. It's no substance other than that. And this is a guy that has been in these circles for his entire life.
All right, let's we got to go to the post show. If you want to join us, be a subscriber. It makes this show happen. You go click on join on Rumble. That gets you your locals account. It's $8 a month, otherwise $88 for the year. We're getting a lot of new members. I really appreciate it. This gives us great
I was writing some push polling questions for a candidate that we were serving voters, and I left in one of them that was a joke, but I put it through and wanted to see what the powers that be would say, and I was told I need to share it on the post show today. So one little thing for the post show. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe now.
That's the juiciness to the post show. Then also I want you to address CD2, because isn't CD2 going to do an endorsing convention? Try to do endorsing convention?
I don't know about that, but there's some. All
right, I want some inside take. I want inside take on that. You're going to get something on Joe Tyrab.
If you want information on him, go to joetayrab.com. Tayrab.com. I don't know what his real website is, but those two are owned by Angie.
That's happening tonight. Tom Emmer's, guy that he pushed in CD2. This is some juicy guys. You won't hear this from anywhere else. And then you can't believe what Tucker Carlson.
Does Joe Tayrab have any policy
Tucker Carlson? Shush. You killed my outro. He does. He really does do that, Dawson. And he kills my intro because he's not here on time.
If Joe Tayrab had policies, he'd be similar to Kamala
There you go.
Well, I'm saying I don't like him or respect
Dawson,
him.
you won. You won. You got us. She's got a couple like one sentence policies. You won on that one.
Holy crap, she has policies? Great.
She's got a couple sentences that you could deduce as policies.
Because that makes the victory less
Well,
sweet.
technically she has policies. All right, you win. She's got policies. She said in passing.
Trump said, "Make America great again." That's his policy.
That's his policy.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are angry.
No, it's very clear to everybody that she stands for nothing.
Do you at
make
least
the
agree
argument that she technically has policies?
Dawson, do you agree that what she's doing and the media organs that RFK talks about have really ushered this like praise and celebrity a thing of Kamala that really didn't come from what most candidates have to go through? Can you at least agree on that? That's a little bizarre.
Are you saying that the Democrats are rallying behind their only person that could possibly win right now? Yeah.
RFK, so RFK
Michelle Obama would be way better as a candidate.
So RFK stands for medical freedom, health for the children and getting the food, the toxins out of the food.
No,
ending big corporate media, all this stuff. But RFK stands for all those things. And Kamala stands for what? Oh, 25 grand for a home, new first-time home buyer.
I want to hear you answer this question.
Yeah.
Do you at least agree that it's a little disgusting, or that I shouldn't preface that way. I'm biasing. Do you at least agree that the Democrats are ushering in this I don't know, phony celebrityness of Kamala Harris and this like huge fanfare for somebody who hasn't actually earned it? Like, she hasn't actually won any primary votes. She actually hasn't done any interviews. She probably is not going to debate Trump. Don't you think that's a little bizarre?
So I've told you before, yes, I do think that it's bizarre, but again, they're going to do it because they were going to lose with Biden.
Okay, let me ask you this question. And that's true. And that's actually why I think some of this energy, some people on the right are like, oh, it's all fake. The crowd size is fake. I'm like, no, I kind of get it. They had a corpse. They had a vegetable running, and now they don't.
Which, keep in mind, Trump still thinks they're AI as far as we know. He hasn't brought that back.
Trump was wrong on that one, but that was pretty funny, by the way. So can you at least agree on this, that the Democrats have positioned themselves as holier than thou, that this election is about saving democracy? Can you agree that that's how they've...
That's what both sides are doing.
No. Yeah, but that actual term, that's literally the leftist talking point.
they're saying
I mean, I would say just behind that is abortion, right? But number one thing they've been saying for like 2-3 years is save democracy. That's what this is about. Can you agree with that? Okay. Do you think that these people have a big leg to stand on, that they're saving democracy by having a candidate that's not talking to the press, that's not doing debates, that hasn't won a single primary vote? Do you think that's the path to saving democracy?
I think
what kind of nut house are we living in here? And RFK called it out.
Are you going to let me answer? Or
Yeah, I'll let you answer. I don't know.
Okay,
should I let him answer?
And justify the means.
Go ahead.
There we go.
So I think that... God, I forgot the question.
By the way, Imbauer says we're a republic, not democracy.
The question was, are we going to save democracy?
That's not how they're phrasing it. It is a republic.
The question Jake had was, do the ends justify the means? Are we going to save democracy by subverting democracy?
Okay.
That's
there you go. There you go.
So I believe that they do think that they are saving democracy with what they're doing.
Okay, but now, do you think that's a problem? Do you think that's
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? Do you believe that if they believe that they're saving democracy, that they are, quote, retarded, unquote?
Did he actually write that?
No, I mean, that's what he would say. Because literally, like, we're saving democracy by subverting democracy.
Okay, what does Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly think about Tim Walz? This is good. I wanted to cover this on the show. We lost time. We got to cover this. So this is good. Then you got some juicy gossip plus CD2. So if you're not a member, join us. Go to join on Rumble. Click on join. I got to come up with a better way to explain this, or maybe like an image. But click on join. I think it's a red button, green button. What is it? Red button.
Remember off the top.
Yes, I think it's red. Click on join. That sends you to locals. Join us $8 a month or $80 a year. That helps us building this show, producing documentaries, all the other good things that we're doing. We got a news truck now. We got big things. We're going places. So join us. Help us out there. Gregory Reno, thank you very much. Thank you to the Rumble Rants. Thank you to Warren Wessel of Keller Williams Realty. If you're buying or selling a home, give Warren a call. Go buy a home. If you go buy a home, finance it through the good guys at John Galt Mortgage Company. Go to johngaltmortgage.com. And thank you to Alpine Cabinetry in St. Cloud, Minnesota. For you that are watching the post show, we'll see you in a couple minutes. For everyone else, we'll be back here on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Take care.